and more solo tackles by himself than Haha on both categories. No tackles for losses, no sacks.
And if you haven't had enough, want to visit NFL Addictions on Facebook.com for all of your NFL banter and chatter. It's not a trash talk site, so keep it clean and keep it cordial. That's NFL Addictions on Facebook.com. And if you still got an itch to scratch when you're done with that, you want to visit Raz Addictions on Facebook.com for their version of the raffle for all kinds of cool prizes, even a chance at winning some cash. You buy a $10 raffle ticket for a chance at winning $100. That's a chance at making 10 times your money. It don't get any better than that. That's Raz Addictions on Facebook.com for a chance at all kinds of cool prizes. Tell them what you've won, Dave.
I've won everything from tailgating barbecue sets. That I have a Packers one that I won, folks, for $400. I put $40 down on the spot. I won it, and it was out of 20 spots. It's really worth it. I've also won helmets that are signed. I've won banners that are signed. I've won memorabilia rings. I've won footballs that are signed and other Packers knickknacks because that's my team. But go ahead and check them out. Cheap, affordable prices for certified, authentic stuff.
That's Raz Addictions on Facebook.com. Go there, play, and win. And as always, you can follow us on Twitter at First and Goal Pod, myself at UPJ33, Dave is at Steak and Cheese, and the fantasy wonder himself, Dylan, at Dylan Busby1. Email us at firstandgoalpodcast@yahoo.com with all your football and Packer questions and comments, and you just might find yourself making the show live. That's firstandgoalpodcast@yahoo.com. And we are back, and Dave has rejoined us from the bizarro world of this connection is not connecting.
I was here, sir. I don't know what
Oh,
happened.
no.
I was here. But anyways, getting back to it, man, just overall, I'm excited for this Bears Packers. I really am. Hey, don't you yawn. That's not allowed.
This is allowed because I am dog-ass tired.
But that's
I don't
another
know how much
factor I
longer
heard you.
I'm gonna keep awake to keep this going.
Another factor you brought up earlier was injuries. I took a look at the Bears injury report, and good God, if that is an advantage, I took a look, folks. Everyone for the past 2 days have practiced for the Packers. The only one that has not practiced was Josh Jackson because of his father's funeral. Prayers go out to him and his family. I am sorry to hear that, Josh. Stay strong. I'm pretty sure the coach and the players will be with you on that. So sorry to hear about that. Also, moving on to the injuries. The only full participant on their injury list, Prince Amukamara. Ben Brownecker, one of their tight ends that was their third string tight end, folks. He's out with a concussion, it looks like. Then you have Gabriel out with a concussion. Bobby Massey did not participate. These are all 2 day in a row did not participate. That's a pretty big sign if those people aren't participating 2 days in a row. At least Thursday, you try to get them out there limited, see if they can move around. Nothing. A new one showed up on the injury report. Cordero Patterson. That's the return guy. That's a biggie because Cohen is one of their main running backs, and if they have to use him on return duties and he gets banged up, it's not enough depth for Chicago on that because they switch out Montgomery and Cohen a lot, especially for that scat back. Then you have Roy Robertson Harris. He is Hicks' replacement, and he comes in. He's been playing pretty well this season. He came out last week dealing with a foot injury, and now he did not practice 2 days in a row. Danny Trevathan's still out, not going to play this week. Javon Wims, one of their up-and-coming wide receivers, Bears have been wanting to see for a couple games now, or actually, no, they've wanted to see him most of the season, but he's played a couple games, showed a couple good catches, but then he got his knee hurt last week in Dallas, or versus Dallas, and now they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people did not participate. Um, Jay, either those are starters or those are some really big role players. I mean, Packers are
I'm pouring
healthy.
pop right now.
Oh, Jesus, that isn't a northern thing. I'm pouring pop. Come on, Mom, pouring pop. But, I mean, no, seriously, though. Packers are healthy. We've got some guys playing through injury, but they're still healthy for the most part. We give veteran days off to guys like Bulaga, Tremont, Graham. We know their bodies handle injuries differently, so we give them the rest. They know the game plan. But you don't give game plan days rest off to a whole list of six guys that are either starters or get really significant playing time. We're probably going to see J.P. Holtz and Bradley Sowell this weekend, forward tight ends. And they are fourth and fifth string tight ends because it looks like Ben Brown-Necker will not play. If they lose Taylor Gabriel, that's another big hit, Jay, because if you have Wims and Gabriel out, you're basically relying on Allen Robinson, Miller, and Riley Ridley as your wide receivers. So I don't know what else to think of. Like, how are they? They're going to have to rely heavily on the run. That's all I can think of.
Yeah, and they're going to have to rely on it, but if they don't, that's when you can't have Trubisky throwing the ball that much. It's not how the offense is efficient.
I think Pettine's going to bring pressure, like, immediately, right off the bat. I think he's going to – and you know what, Jay? What we've talked about these past couple weeks, that whole roaming linebacker with Za'Darius. I think we're going to see that 90% of the game while Za'Darius is on the field. I think we're going to see him roam. I'm hoping they put Gary in on a lot of those plays where it's Gary and Preston on the sides, and you have Za'Darius running up and down the line, finding the gap to shoot, and rushing with Kenny on the interior gaps. Tell you what, that'll make any quarterback's butthole pucker on that, buddy. I don't care what quarterback's in there.
Look, okay. I'm getting super uber tired. Okay.
Oh, come on.
I know. I'm
come on. No long in the tooth.
I'm pushing through. And I'm going like I'm thinking like this. Just long term, right? This is what's going through my mind as I'm sitting here listening to all this, and I'm thinking about what I listened to on the Halas Hall Brawl about those guys and from their end as Bears fans, okay? And what they see, regardless if I agree with it or not. What I really, really want to see, and it's kind of a two-part thing because I want to see it without seeing the second part of it, right? I want to see the consistency on offense, just drive in and drive out. They don't have to score every time, but it would be nice for them, like defenses make stops, but it'd be nice for them to have more than one drive in a row on a consistent basis throughout the game where they're not going 3 and out. Like where they have an 8-play, like they can go 8-9 plays and punt. That's fine. But like this idea, because to me that's still being more of a consistent offense. To me, inconsistent on offense, where they are inconsistent, is where they get in these phases where one drive they go down and they score, and then 2 or 3 drives in a row, it's 3 and out or 4 or 5 plays and out.
Well, sometimes LaFleur plays right into defense's hands. I've noticed these past couple weeks, like he'll go down, like you just said, went straight down, scored a touchdown, and mostly it was through the air, and then you get to the red zone, you let Aaron Jones score. That's how the first drive went last week. Well, the defense adjusts. You're going to see him go straight out in the next series, and Rodgers goes pass, 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 and then 3 and out. You're done. And that's the thing. I mean, I really think they need to stick with Aaron Jones. Doesn't matter if it's rushing. Doesn't matter if it's receiving. Jay, they have a 3rd and 4th string linebacker as their inside linebackers.
Okay. Well,
even if Hicks plays, you still have.
And I agree with you.
Low depth.
Here's what I don't want to see, though, with their consistency. I don't want them emptying the bag.
I'm not saying no. I'm not saying
no,
empty the bag. I'm just saying use Jones as the wide receiver too.
No. You can use Jones as a wide receiver too and still do all that without doing all these double motions and all that. I want them to be efficient on offense with whatever they do. Be balanced, but don't use the shit that you want to run in the playoffs. I guess that's a better way of saying it.
So you're finally believing in what I was saying.
I didn't say I never believed in it. I was there.
No, I didn't say you didn't agree.
But there's a part of me. There is the NFL analyst in me that has to look at it from just as if you're looking at it from you're saying this is what the team is. They're not hiding anything. This is just what they are. Now, as the Green Bay person that knows a lot about them and realizes that Aaron Rodgers never forgets shit, even if it's from as far back as 2012 when he didn't receive a bye.
He has receipts in his kitchen drawers, folks.
Then that's why I agree with you and why I can help compound that freaking what most people would think as a ridiculous take on what's actually going on and why this offense looks so hanky-janky all the time.
It's not playing possum, folks. It's just saying it's using different pages of your offensive playbook. Say if it's like 2 or 3 pages a game. I know coaches have extensive playbooks. Some coaches may have a 20-play playbook. But LaFleur, he comes from Kyle Shanahan. Are you kidding me? Do you know how many motions? Do you know how many fake reverses? How many fake tosses? How many inside runs? There's plays galore inside that thing. You're telling me he doesn't use 2 to 3 pages of that playbook and use it per game. And then next thing you know, okay, that's not working. Keep this, chuck that, keep this, chuck that, keep this, chuck that. And then at the end of the year, I'm going to combine this into one little holy Bible. It's not playing possum. He's basically weeding out what's working, what's not. And it just happens to be that we're freaking winning while doing it.
I don't know. It's just... that's so it gets into that. What I was saying is there still is an efficiency and consistency issue rearing its head even week in and week out, even when they're winning. And I think it's awful funny that I will bring this up. I think it's very funny that the fact that I said that and got tore up by Packers Twitter and stuff, and then Matt LaFleur comes out in his press conference and says the same thing.
Same exact thing, word for word.
Yeah. So
word for
take
word,
that and shove it in your cram hole, LaFleur.
Actually, it would be not LaFleur because he agreed with you.
Well, yeah, but we're saying it to them because they would say it to him.
I mean, that just shows the work ethic like we talked about before after the game. He literally said, okay, I'm going to the locker room. Good job, guys. 10 wins. Wasn't pretty, but, hey, we did it. 10 wins is a big thing in this league with 3 games to go. Gave out. One of the players came out and said, 1, 2, 3, G-Train. LaFleur disappeared, went in his office, watched film. If that ain't dedication, I don't know what is. Like, if that ain't coming and showing this team as a first-year head coach that you don't want this or that you want this, I really don't know what else is. Literally right after the game, going and diving into film. You know who used to do that?
I like him.
Mike Shanahan. He taught that down to Kyle. Kyle taught it to Sean and Matt.
Yeah, but you know what? It wasn't Kyle that taught him that. Let's be real, because these guys all worked under Mike. Mike directly mentored and taught these guys. Yes, he did, because when you listen to Mike talk about those guys, because let's be real, like Kyle and Sean and these guys are all friends. Like they came up in coaching together, but they're friends. Like they're young guys that grew up together and in everything else. Are you okay?
I'm hacking up phlegm, man. I'm spitting in my empty water bottle.
I was like wondering what the hell you were doing back there. Like there's like
clearing
a
my
lot
throat.
of animation and
wonderful first and goalers can hear my voice instead of sounding like this.
Oh, that actually, let's do that some more. That could be interesting.
No, you can go cram it up your cram hole, LaFleur.
Ouch, that one hurts.
No one makes me bleed my own blood. Michelle,
All right.
I love dodgeball. I can't get rid of it.